day. It's staying well above average though still as we get to next week. 94 in the high desert today, 95 tomorrow, and then a little bit of a break on Sunday with those 80s. 107 in Palm Springs, really hot, to 109 tomorrow. We'll stay in these triple digits through the extended outlook. All right, let's do some TV shout outs before you walk out the door. We've got some, let's see, birthday shout out here to Joe. Happy 6th birthday to you. Oh my God, you're so cute. Your Bampa and Amma love you so much. And they sent us this photo, Steve and Grandma. And as we give a shout out, actually, happy St. Patty's Day here from Barbara Stover, your favorite luxury realtor. That's a beautiful picture of you, Barbara. Keep those pictures coming. All you have to do is email them to us, tvshoutouts@fox.com. Don't forget to attach the photo and give us their name, please. Back to you.
Maria, thank you. With temperatures heating up across Southern California, as you've mentioned, there is a sweet way to cool down. Dairy Queen is celebrating. Today is Free Cone Day, and they're giving out free small vanilla cones all day today as a way to, just welcome spring. You don't need to download an app or purchase anything. How about that? Just stop by and enjoy a classic soft serve treat. However, it is 1 cone per person, and it is while supplies last. 7:55 still ahead. LAUSD about to hold a press conference on the possible teacher strike. Coco is there live. We're going to bring you the very latest with that story. Also, financial stress can be super tough to talk about, but ignoring it can actually make it worse, of course. Coming up, we'll have some tips on how to help you get back on track. And very nice in Van Nuys. Sky Fox, thanks so much for this shot. A clear day, but you can just tell it is already warm out there. Beautiful views. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
welcome to Good Day LA. It's 8 o'clock on this Thursday. I'm Jen Lammers.
And I'm Roxy Carby, and we did switch seats because we like to keep things interesting around here.
Switch it up on you.
Let's take a look at some of the stories we're covering for you. LAUSD officials are about to hold a press conference in response to a possible teacher strike. We have you covered with that, and we'll bring it to you live.
The legacy of Cesar Chavez continues to unravel after allegations of sexual assault. Cesar Chavez Day will be renamed today, and we'll have reaction to that.
And another day of record-breaking temps. Let's get straight to Maria to talk about that heat wave.
Yep, we are sticking with it here for another couple days at least of really extreme heat, and then we'll start to drop those temperatures just a tiny bit. Right now we're looking at a satellite radar picture here, and I've been looking for the marine layer. You know, we love the marine layer. That's our natural AC, and we don't see it at all. You can see maybe offshore, far offshore, and that's the problem. So that's why it's going to heat up quickly again today. Right now it's not too bad. Still, this is when you should go on that walk if you like to take those longer walks, but don't do it after 10 a.m. for sure, because it's really going to heat up again. 67 currently in Woodland Hills and Burbank and Ontario, 63 in San Bernardino. It's 32 in Big Bear right now. It's going to warm up quite a bit up in the mountains again today, and we could break another record. Yesterday Big Bear broke their old record. So today 82, even hotter. 94 in the high desert to 107 expected in the Coachella Valley in Palm Springs there in the low desert. 101 in the valleys in the Inland Empire. 94 for downtown LA. That's well above the average of 70 degrees. 83 along our coastline. You know, tomorrow we will officially welcome the spring season here in the Northern Hemisphere. More details on what you can expect in just a few, excuse me, few minutes. But first, let's go up to Stu. Stu, rescue me.
Oh, Maria, I wish I could run and bring you a glass of water. I'm being serious. Believe me, I've been in that spot. We'll get through it. We'll get through it together. And we'll get through this heat. Oh, my God, it is brutal. I think it's actually affecting the traffic as well. We're taking a look at the Mission Hills area. That's going to be the 405 southbound. Yeah, it's going to be a tough drive. That's all I can say. From the 118 all the way down to Sunset. Take a look at that. That's basically what you're going to be dealing with all the way down there. Even the northbound lanes are starting to build up this morning as well. Not sure if that's heat related or not. Southbound 405, if that's your ride this morning, give yourself extra time. Even if you know what you're expecting, it's going to be a little more rough today. And northbound, actually catching up some slowing on that one as well. Usually I say it's wide open and moving well. It's better, but it's definitely not what we're used to. A lot of people on those roads. Sending it back to you all in the studio. Good morning.
All right, some water. Thank you. So we have some breaking news right now in downtown LA. A suspect was shot and wounded this morning after allegedly opening fire at police.
Yeah, let's go to Gigi live in downtown with more on the story, and you can update us as far as what the area is like right now, and can people have access to where you're standing?
Good morning. The street does remain shut down for this investigation, and we are awaiting an update from the LAPD on the suspect's condition. It is believed he was rushed into surgery after being shot moments after police say he shot at them. This is all happening on Ceres Street here in downtown Los Angeles on Skid Row between 6th and 7th. The 911 call coming in at about 4:10 this morning, reporting a man living in an RV who was coming out of that RV armed with a gun and randomly shooting it and then pointing it at people here again on Skid Row. Now, this is an industrial area, but there are a lot of tents and RVs, large encampments here. Police quickly arrived, surrounded the RV. We're asking the man to come out peacefully to surrender. They say he did come out, but armed with that gun, and at one point he did fire at police officers, according to the LAPD. LAPD officers firing back. He was hit, although it is unclear if he was hit by police gunfire or if he possibly shot himself. That is always a possibility, and hopefully the LAPD will provide that information. Now, as with all officer-involved shootings with the LAPD, it is not only investigated by the Los Angeles Police Department, but also by two independent agencies, including the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. Reporting live in downtown LA, I'm Gigi Graciette. Back to you.
All right, Gigi, thank you for that update. Meantime, it's a high-stakes morning for LA Unified as a strike threat is on the table amid growing questions about the district's direction.
That's right. LAUSD leaders, they're about to address all of it. And Coco McAvoy is live in Westlake as we wait for that update. Coco.
Good morning. District leaders from the LA Unified School District will be holding a press conference in about 10 minutes. We expect to learn more about the district's response to an imminent strike from tens of thousands of LAUSD unionized employees. And this follows a large rally held in Grand Park yesterday.
Meet our deadline or face the strike line.
A massive show of force from 3 labor groups, United Teachers LA, SEIU, Local 99, and the School Administrators Union, all joining together yesterday for what they called a Fight for LA labor rally. The groups represent more than 33,000 workers from teachers and principals to cafeteria staff and custodians. Union leaders say if there's no deal by April 14th, they will strike. This comes after months of stalled negotiations with all 3 groups working without a contract since June of last year.
We have to be that emotional because there's so much at stake for every one of our students and their families. It's not a time for us to let down. It's a time for us to keep going and keep fighting for the services they truly deserve.
It is really shocking because the district has $10 billion that they've been giving to outside contract. They haven't been meeting the rate of who they should be staffing in schools.
5 hours each way.
94% of teachers have already voted to authorize a strike. The district said it's committed to reaching an agreement, and its offers are among the highest in the state. Again, that press conference is going to start in about 10 minutes. We will keep you updated on the latest. Reporting live this morning, I'm Coco McAvoy. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Coco, thank you. Now to some developing news. A cargo ship with crushed and dangling containers sits in the port of Long Beach. Look at this. The ship was traveling from Taiwan to Southern California when it was hit by powerful 20-foot waves. At least 32 containers fell into the ocean and dozens of others were left badly damaged. A 100-yard safety zone is now in place around the ship because those containers could still fall. It's not clear what's inside those teetering containers. The cleanup operation is expected to begin today.
Happening today, Los Angeles will look to distance itself from Cesar Chavez after sexual abuse allegations surfaced against the late civil rights icon. Today, Mayor Bass expected to sign a proclamation to rename the last Monday in March as Farm Workers Day. She's also expected to announce the city is looking into possible renaming landmarks dedicated to Chavez. We'll have the mayor's proclamation live when it happens. All of this coming following a blockbuster New York Times report alleging that Chavez sexually abused and groomed women and young girls for years. Among the alleged victims is labor rights leader Dolores Huerta. Chavez and Huerta actually co-founded the United Farm Workers Union back in the 1960s. Huerta claims Chavez sexually assaulted her twice, leading to 2 pregnancies, which she kept hidden by giving up the children for other families to raise. In a statement, she says that she has kept silent for 60 years to avoid hurting the farm worker movement, and she spent her entire life fighting for it, and she's nearly 96 years old.
Now, the latest in the war with Iran, we are learning more about Iran's devastating attack on a natural gas facility in Qatar. It caused major damage and is expected to reduce exports by 17% over the next few years. President Trump is threatening to blow up an entire gas field in Iran if they attack Qatar again. Iran has been targeting energy facilities all over the region in the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait. The Pentagon held a presser, in fact, this morning, and here's what was said about Iran's ability to target energy assets in that region.
Clearly, they came into this fight with a lot of weapons. This is why we continue to be as aggressive and assertive as we can against their ballistic missile capability, both their medium-range ballistic missile capability and their short-range missile capability. So we are continuing to hunt and find them and kill them, and we will continue to do so.
This morning, we also learned the Pentagon is seeking $200 billion in additional funds for the war, a request likely to face stiff opposition from many Democrats and some Republicans as well.
Still ahead, Maria joining us again with, of course, the look at the numbers, the heat wave, and how the weekend is shaping up. I think we can start talking about the weekend.
I think we can. It's Thursday. Also, we continue to wait for a press conference from LAUSD after teachers and staff announced a possible strike. We'll bring it to you live when it happens. First, though, let's go to Stu for a check on our morning commutes. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, ladies. Good morning, everybody. Skyfox traffic brought to us by My Home Sold. Somebody asked me to find a picture of a PT Cruiser. I've been looking, and I just can't find one, even in all this we're seeing right there. What's going on here? Where are we? That's going to be the 101. This really slow and go is going to be the southbound 101 coming out of the West Valley, bringing you over to the 405. But the northbound lanes, probably just as bad. Take a look at that. Super slow and go. You got all that extra heat. For some reason, everybody's getting in their AC cars and driving on the freeway. Give yourself extra time on that 101 through the valley. Let's take a look at some other traffic hotspots, shall we?
Hello, I'm Adrian Hernandez with MyHomeSold.com, and we want to buy your house cash. We'll give you a cash offer for your house today. Sell your house the easy way with no commissions, no fees, no repairs. For free, no obligation cash offer. Go to MyHomeSold.com.
Welcome back. 8:13 this hour on your top story this morning. Of course, that historic heat wave not over yet. These dangerous temperatures continue to break records, and extreme heat warnings remain in place for much of Southern California, with some areas seeing the highest numbers ever recorded for the month of March. As far as relief, temperatures will dip in the 80s by Sunday, but will it keep cooling into next week, or will we expect another heat wave? Maria's going to be here with a forecast in just a few minutes. Meantime, this headline, an American college student has gone missing, we're told, in Spain. 20-year-old James Gracie was in Barcelona for spring break to visit friends studying abroad. The University of Alabama student is from the Chicago area, and a friend says he last saw James around 3 in the morning on Tuesday outside a nightclub. A family spokesperson says police in Spain found his phone during the arrest of another person, but did not say if that person has anything to do with his disappearance. The Riverside County Sheriff's Department is giving an up-close and personal look at their new pursuit-busting device. Take a look at this. Wow, all right, so this is called the grappler. When deployed, its arms actually extend and lower to catch one of the suspect's tires. In its net, the yellow tether then brings the car to a full stop. The Special Enforcement Bureau says it's a safer option to end pursuits without injuring other drivers or officers.
I will tell you the grappler system is safer than the pit maneuver because we control the vehicle. We get the car to stop. When we get the car to stop, the car is facing forward. When we do a pit maneuver, there's damage that is incurred by that. The car spins around, and most times that car is facing us now.
I can see it'd be a safer option for sure. You'd have to get really close, though. So the Riverside County Sheriff's Department is the first agency in all of California to utilize the system. Currently, 10 patrol cars are equipped with grapplers in Riverside County. 6 more will be added by July. So Americans may soon have to pay nearly $1 to mail a first-class letter. The United States Postal Service Postmaster General David Steiner said during a congressional hearing the price of a first-class stamp could rise up to as high as 95 cents, up from 78 cents. This potential price increase may be necessary as USPS struggles financially because of declining mail volume. Steiner told the House Oversight Committee the agency may run out of cash in just a year's time. That's pretty unbelievable. I mean, right? I guess, you know, everything's going digital, so.
When was the last time you actually put a stamp to envelope and mailed something?
You know what? I did it recently only because Ethan sent a card to one of our friends.
Yes, that was so nice of him to do that.
Right? Wasn't it nice for their birthday?
Nice young man.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is something I'm teaching guys to do as well, and we do buy stamps. So this will impact our lives for sure with it a little bit higher, but I encourage you to do it. I can't tell you how many people, I love receiving. Yes, card. Me too. I go because it's just a bunch of bills, really, typically.
But let's not make it a lost art form, you know?
No, let's keep it going, guys. Let's keep it going. All right, let's talk about this heat, huh? Yesterday, we broke more records. Woodland Hills, 100 degrees. Riverside, 98. Burbank, it was 97. Anaheim, 95. And Big Bear, even up into the mountains, broke a record with that 77-degree high temperature. Today, even warmer expected up into the mountains as this big dome of high pressure is impacting our weather here, not just across Southern California, but really all of the Southwest. And that high is expanding actually toward the plains. And so even the plains is going to get in on some of the heat today into tomorrow, producing temperatures about 20 to 30 plus degrees above normal. So it is officially still winter on the calendar. Tomorrow we will welcome spring with some heat, it looks like, still continuing. And then that high will weaken slightly for the weekend. And then we'll get just a slight sea breeze. And I think if you're at the coast, you're going to feel it a little bit on Saturday. And then everyone else, maybe in the valley, will go, oh, it's hot, but it's not as hot as it is this week for sure. So right now, we're still looking at some extreme heat warnings. This will be in effect at least until Friday night, maybe expanded to Saturday. But generally, that means heat-related illnesses increase significantly during these extreme heat events. So I think for the weekend, maybe just advisories for temperatures reaching those 90s and maybe not getting too much into those triple digits. But today, triple digits definitely out towards some of our valley locations and also out towards the deserts. 108 in Indio today, looking at 97 in Las Vegas if you're traveling there. Look at Fresno, 92, 89 in Sacramento. Here's your day planner for Riverside, getting up to that 100-degree mark at 3 p.m. Even harder than that, I think, maybe getting into the 4 or 5 o'clock hour and then starting to calm down a bit, 97 at night. See, this is also the problem. We're not really getting those cooler overnight temperatures, so we're sticking with the heat, and that can cause a lot of heat stress. So I want you to take the extra precautions, please, to stay cool. 91 degrees by this afternoon at 2 p.m. and out towards Anaheim, 92 degrees at 3 o'clock. All right, stay with us. We've got more news, weather, breaking news, and traffic coming up after the break.
Take you live to Westlake, where LAUSD leaders are addressing a strike threat from the teachers union. You can see the acting superintendent speaking there now. Let's listen in.
And we believe that we can reach an agreement with all of our labor partners. Our public school system is experiencing unprecedented external pressures, including the continuing impact of immigration enforcement in our communities, as well as uncertainty around state and federal funding, while also being impacted by decreasing enrollment. This is a time for us to come together in our mission to serve students when they need us most. This is a time for us to remember that we are LA unified. Thank you. Now in Spanish. Buenos días. Aprecio que nos puedan acompañar hoy. Antes que nada, quiero reconocer el increíble trabajo de nuestros dedicados educadores y empleados del Distrito Unificado de Los Ángeles, quienes se presentan todos los días al trabajo para brindar ambientes de aprendizaje seguros, de bienvenida y de interés para todos nuestros estudiantes. Ayer los socios laborales llevaron a cabo una manifestación y anunciaron una posible fecha de huelga para el 14 de abril. Quiero dejar claro que nadie quiere una huelga. Las huelgas no son buenas para los estudiantes, no son buenas para nuestras escuelas y no son buenas para nuestras familias. Creo firmemente que nuestros socios laborales tampoco quieren una huelga. Continuaremos trabajando juntos.
So you're hearing now the acting superintendent of LAUSD. Teachers Union voted to authorize a strike if contract talks fall through. That strike is set for April 14th, and you're talking many teachers not coming to work, as well as closing a few schools as well. LAUSD leaders say they don't want it to come to that. They're confident they can avoid that strike, but let's keep listening.
Tenemos la obligación de ser administradores responsables de nuestros recursos financieros en beneficio de nuestros estudiantes a largo plazo. Cualquier aumento salarial debe ser equilibrado y considerar todo el sistema escolar público para quienes estamos aquí para atender. Reconocemos que el coste de vida en Los Ángeles sigue aumentando. Y en respuesta a ello, nos hemos comprometido a
So you're hearing from LAUSD leaders right now. If this strike deadline does hold, this April 14th strike deadline, that would mean around 500,000 students could be out of class in just a matter of weeks. We're now less than a month away from that potential deadline and possible disruptions for hundreds of thousands of district families. This, of course, would mean a number of parents would have to make arrangements for childcare if that does happen. This all escalated pretty quickly. I mean, just yesterday, thousands of educators, school workers, they packed Grand Park. United Teachers LA officially set that April 14th strike deadline. If no deal is reached, you're talking more than 30,000 district employees, including teachers, plan to go on strike. That would disrupt learning for hundreds of thousands of students and families. It's not just about teachers, of course, bus drivers, cafeteria workers, support staff. They're all involved with this. And they say they're struggling to afford to live in Los Angeles County on their current pay. So right now, yeah, as you can hear, the two sides still pretty far apart. The union is pushing for about a 17% pay increase, along with smaller class sizes, more staff, protections against layoffs. The district, on the other hand, is offering about 8%. So still far apart on that, warning that, going any higher could worsen a growing budget crisis.
Así como la incertidumbre sobre la financiación estatal y federal en un momento en que los costes van aumentando, la inscripción está disminuyendo y prevalecen políticas y retóricas divisivas en términos políticos. Es el momento de unirnos en nuestra misión de prestar servicios a los estudiantes en un momento en el que lo más necesitan. Este es el momento para recordar que somos Los Ángeles unificado. Gracias. It's now my pleasure to introduce Board President Scott Schmerlson.
Thank you, Andres, and good morning, everyone. Scott Schmerlson here, President of the LAUSD School Board. So I stand here in front of you not only as a school board member and the president of the LAUSD, but also as a lifelong educator, having experience as a teacher, a school counselor, assistant principal, and I know the day-to-day struggles of our teachers, of our administrators, and staff. So when I visit my schools in Board District 3 and other schools too, very often, I see firsthand the struggles and the amazing work also that everyone is doing. And as I said before, I support everyone equally, whether they be a teacher or a plant manager, cafeteria person, B&G worker. Everyone in LAUSD matters. And all the work that you do is essential to the success of our schools. And we also know that students do better in school. They do much better in school when they are physically in a classroom learning from a teacher. And as the district continues through bargaining processes, I hope an agreement is reached soon, and together we strive to maintain a stable and safe environment for both students and staff as well. And I will continue to fight for our workforce and for our everyday heroes. And let me just mention who benefits from a strike. Who is the winner in a strike? And the answer is no one. Nobody. No one wins after a strike. No one. Everyone is hurt. Parents are running around looking for a place to send their kids while the schools are on strike. Students, all those double-digit gains are in danger. All the work that we've done to bring this up, it is in danger. And we don't want those double-digit gains to go down the drain. Teachers never forget. You may think, well, when the strike's over in a week or so, everybody will be friends again. It doesn't work that way. I've seen it and I've lived it. Teachers never forget. Teachers who cooperated with each other, shared with each other, worked with each other, no longer do that. It's a hard, hard way to go, and it's very, very sad. So, we must not strike. We must not have a strike. Everyone loses after a strike. During a strike, too. The LAUSD must continue to bargain in good faith, as well as the union bargaining in good faith. Everyone has to take a deep breath and give a little and work together. Thank you very much. I guess I introduce Vice President Rosillo. Is that correct? Go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schmelson. Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Rosillo Rivas. I represent Board District 2, which encompasses downtown LA, East Side, and also Northeast LA. And I want to start by recognizing the educators and school staff who serve our students every single day. Their work is essential to the strength of our schools and our communities. We support the right of workers to organize and advocate for themselves. That is a major part of how we ensure trusted public institutions and a respected workforce. And when I say we, I'm including the Board of Education, Acting Superintendent Chait, district leadership, and also all labor partners. We also strongly believe in reaching a fair contract through the bargaining process. That is the work that is in front of us. And it requires focus, good faith, and a commitment from all sides to reach an agreement. We also want to speak directly to our families. I would love to speak directly to our families. As a parent of an LAUSD student, I understand the concern and uncertainty that comes from this moment. But our priority is maintaining the stability of your children, our students, as we work toward a resolution that keeps students learning and schools open. As negotiations continue, our responsibility is to reach a fair agreement while maintaining a stable environment for all our students. Our educators deserve a fair contract, and our students deserve stability. We are committed to doing our part to reach an agreement. We are committed to do everything in our power to reach an agreement that supports both our employees and also our students. Unas palabras en español. Primero quiero reconocer a los educadores y todos los trabajadores en nuestras escuelas que están ahí cada día con nuestros estudiantes. El trabajo de ellos es esencial y traen el poder.
As you've been listening to the LAUSD addressing the strike, a threat by teachers and employees, this is something that they've gone back and forth on. That looming deadline is April 14th, which is actually quickly approaching. And if they can't come to some type of a conclusion, many people will be greatly impacted by this. 30,000 individuals, not just the school district, obviously, also families will be impacted by this, because parents will have to figure out what to do with their children if this indeed goes through. This is something that we just heard the message reiterated, that everyone needs to come forward, give a little in order to prevent this from occurring, because no one really wins when there is a strike.
Yeah, you're talking not just teachers here, drivers, bus drivers, cafeteria workers, support staff also involved. They say they're struggling to afford to live in Los Angeles on their current paychecks. And right now, I mean, the two sides couldn't be any further apart. The union is pushing for a 17% pay increase with smaller class sizes, more staff. protections against layoffs, which, as you know, there were layoffs that were announced a few weeks ago to that support staff. And Superintendent Alberto Carvalho, meantime, had to step away temporarily as he's in the middle of an FBI investigation. The district is offering about an 8% increase, so still far apart there. Let's listen in.
In its negotiating position vis-a-vis the teachers union and Local 99. That's one question. And the other question, and this is for anyone who wants to take it, historically, the size of the teachers' raise has driven the raises in all the other units. So at a certain level, the teachers were negotiating for everyone because they had the troops, and everybody's raise was at some level tied to what the teachers won at the bargaining table. Is that true still? Or, I mean, if the teachers get a certain level as a result of these negotiations, is that going to, in effect, affect figuratively or literally what you're giving the other unions at this point, even the ones that have settled? Or is that era completely irrelevant today?
First part, yeah. I can answer you the first part. The second part has to do with our negotiators and what happens when an agreement is reached with other unions. But I can tell you that every board member here is in favor of settling and not having a strike. We all know. We all have our schools. We know how miserable it is when we have a strike. So we are united 100% to not have a strike.
Yes, I echo that. Our board members, we respect every single one of our employees, from educators to our classified and also all of our administrators, and we're united in that effort and working diligently with our district leadership, with our chief financial officer and our labor negotiators here in reaching that respectful, fair contract. And in terms, we look at, we look at all of our employees, all of the unions. We want to be fair all around. So when those discussions are taking place, we look at every single one of our labor partners and being fair for every single one. So that's the lens that we come with.
Morning, Irene Cruz, ABC 7. I know there's a heavy emphasis on avoiding the strike. That's been the main message this morning. But in the case that negotiations fail, the strike pushes through on April 14th, I think a lot of families want to know, how will this be affecting hundreds of thousands of students across LAUSD? Is there a backup plan?
So it's part of our responsibility, of course, to plan for any possible eventuality. I want to emphasize once again, we are going to do everything within our power to avoid a strike, continue the dialogue and so on. That said, of course, we do have to plan for that possible scenario. We have been working diligently for the last few months on what that plan would look like. What I can share at this point, and of course we'll have much more information in the weeks to come should that scenario present itself, is that we're working with external partners to see about childcare, food services for our students. We're looking, of course, at the impact on our campuses. I will say, just on a very practical level, when you have three unions, UTLA, SEIU, and AALA, who have all indicated that they would strike together, it is exceedingly difficult, if not nearly impossible, to maintain schools open during that scenario.
Can you do that in Spanish?
Claro. Obviamente hemos estado las semanas pasadas planificando para cualquier escenario que se presente.
So you just heard the acting superintendent of schools, Andres Chait, saying that it would be nearly impossible, given that all three unions have banded together to authorize this strike, that it would be nearly impossible to keep schools open. I think it's important to put this in context, too, because the last time LAUSD went on strike was, I believe, 2023. Where 30,000 support staff, including teachers, went on strike. They walked out. Nobody crossed the picket lines, and schools across LAUSD were shut down, actually, for 3 days. And you're also talking food services as well, and this is how a lot of students get their daily meals, is through the school system.
That's right. Breakfast, lunch. Students rely on that oftentimes, especially in lower income homes. That is the way they are able to be fed, but overall just the impact this could have on everyone. So many families, working families, how they're going to figure out what to do with their children. But as we mentioned, it's not just teachers. This has to do with bus drivers and custodians and other staff. There's such a big fabric here that makes up the school system, of course. So both sides have to figure this out, because that April 14th is the date the union and the district have time to negotiate and come up with something. Otherwise, they're just going to have to figure something out.
The biggest part of our budget by far. If you go back to from 2022 to the present day, so roughly about a 4-year period, you're looking at a total contract spend somewhere in the range of about $740 million. Now, I want to be clear, that includes things like construction contracts when we do comprehensive modernization on a campus. It includes health benefits. It even includes utilities. And of course, it includes contracts that are purchased or put in place at the school level. So it's not necessarily central spending these dollars. Comparatively, during that same time period, we've spent over $4 billion on our workforce. Now, with that said, and we've shared this over a number of presentations in the last few weeks, we have made a commitment as a district to look carefully at every dollar that we spend on an external contract and really scrutinize whether it is an absolute necessity. For example, of course, I think most folks would agree that having our utilities in place is certainly something that we need, but there may be some other contracts where there's some flexibility. We've even made agreements, agreements, but proposals already to our teachers union around having a process for, again, always prioritizing the workforce before we enter into any other contracts.
Can you do some of that in Spanish? I'm sorry to tell you.
Claro. Muchas de las preguntas que hemos recibido de varios sindicatos y también de la comunidad tiene que ver con los contratos que tienen.
So the union representing the LA Unified School District teachers announcing right now that they will go on strike April 14th if a new contract is not reached with the district. This is obviously a big deal. This can impact many people. That April 14th date gives the union and district some time to negotiate. And the last time the UTLA teachers actually went on strike was back in 2019. So it's been several years. UTLA officials are saying that, they want that 17% increase when it comes to wages over 2 years, saying that teachers are just not paid enough to afford to live here in Los Angeles. And the union is saying they don't want layoffs, they want increased hours, they want staffing for student services, they want some protections in place. Things also when it comes to technology, artificial intelligence, and how that might even replace educators or in the long run, or smaller class sizes, mental health. These are all things that are up for negotiation.
So right now, the two sides are pretty far apart in these contract talks. The union itself is pushing for about a 17% pay increase with smaller class sizes, more staff, protections against layoffs, which we've heard were announced a few weeks ago. The district, on the other hand, is offering about 8%, and they warned that going higher than that could worsen an already growing budget crisis. Let's listen in.
Sorry, quickly in Spanish as well after. Sure. Both English and Spanish.
So I think, like most of our community, particularly in Los Angeles, and I say this as an almost lifelong Angelino, I think we're all deeply, deeply troubled by the allegations that have come forward over the last couple of days, particularly yesterday. Of course, we are assessing the impact that it's going to have on our educational program. Specific to the holiday, as it were, I do want to clarify, it's an unassigned day that happens 2 Fridays from now. At this point, we certainly wouldn't make any shifts to the calendar, because that would, I think, create issues for our parents in terms of daycare. But again, it's part of the larger picture as to what we're assessing. Como muchos en nuestra comunidad, particularmente aquí en Los Ángeles, y lo digo como alguien que ha vivido en Los Ángeles desde
All right, so that question was regarding the allegations which have come forward regarding Cesar Chavez, which have really prompted calls to rename streets, landmarks, schools, those types of things. And so that was the response to that question. We also know that Mayor Karen Bass actually coming up in in 45 minutes or so at 9:30 is supposed to hold a news conference where she will speak and address some of this. She's also been proposing the idea to rename Cesar Chavez Day as Farm Workers Day. So this is a topic that obviously gained a lot of attention. Allegations which were brought forward. Labor rights activist Dolores Huerta, who's nearly 96 years old, came forward and said that she was silent regarding what happened to her years ago because she didn't want to hinder the movement, but it was time to speak out.
With all due respect to the situation, and I want to be respectful of the fact that it's again, an active investigation, and so I'm not going to speak to that. In terms of negotiation, our focus remains the same, right? It's one, to avoid a strike. Two, to do that while giving contracts to our employees that honor the work that they do and maintain stability and continuity for our communities.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so you just heard from acting LAUSD superintendent on this strike deadline. The unions have authorized a strike deadline of April 14th. If negotiations should fall through, that would mean 30,000 support staff, teachers would essentially walk out. And with 3 unions banding together like this, you heard Andres Chait, the acting superintendent, saying that keeping the schools open would be virtually impossible. So still more to come there.
All right, we'll watch that and bring you more to come, but let's also talk about the weather. It's the big topic of conversation, and depending on where you are, you may be liking it and you might not, right?
Yeah, definitely. If you're inland in some of our valley locations out towards the Inland Empire, it's really oppressive. We're talking about this heat wave that continues, and these are really dangerous temperatures. We talk about the heat as the silent killer, and it is the leading cause of weather-related deaths. Actually, all combined, flooding, hurricanes, tornadoes. Heat kills more people than all of those disasters combined. So pay attention to the temperatures. 80s near the coast and the mountains, 90s, and those triple digits will continue. We could break or tie more records today. And as far as relief, perhaps this weekend, a little bit of relief, and it won't be quite as hot, but it will still be above average. So maybe you're getting a little ice cream cone. We got some free cones out there, I think, today. 101 in Woodland Hills, very hot, so you got to eat it fast because there's going to be a lot of melting with those triple-digit temperatures. And it has been a warm month. This entire month of March, we have had above average high temperatures, but particularly hot this week and over the last couple of days. And that's why those extreme heat warnings will stay in effect. Possible record highs today include Riverside, Woodland Hills, with those triple digits down to Burbank as well. Santa Ana, 93 today. That could break the old record of 91. Here are the other highs we're expecting today. 97 in Burbank, 89 in Long Beach there closer to the coast, 83 in Santa Monica, 82 in Oxnard, to that 82 in Big Bear later this afternoon. All right, this is my weather for now. I'll send it back to you, too.
All right, Maria, thank you. Yes, and as she just told us today, the heat is going to be with us through at least Friday with a little bit of relief over the weekend.
Yes, so the heat has caused some outages and could cause some more today, so you need to be on top of this. Brooke is here with the details. Hi, Brooke.
Yeah, can you imagine already dealing with the heat, then an outage on top of that? Yeah, the power luckily is back on in Beverly Hills now, but it was an uncomfortable night for nearly 1,500 people. Power went out around 12:30 a.m. It was restored around 5. An Edison spokesperson admits their system is strained right now and is asking everyone to conserve energy. How can you do that? Well, we have some easy ways. Keep your blinds and curtains closed. Try to rely on ceiling fans if you can, so you can keep your thermostat set higher. And this is one people forget. Check your HVAC filters. If those are dirty or they need to be replaced, your AC will work harder, which of course means using more energy. Those are just some tips to try and keep in mind. Parks and playgrounds can also be a problem for people and especially pets on artificial turf. Do you know it can be 20 to 50 degrees hotter because the plastic fibers trap heat and have a hard time cooling, unlike natural grass. The pavement can quickly burn your pup's paws in seconds, and heat stroke in dogs can happen fast. We have some symptoms for you of heat stroke: heavy panting, pale gums, drooling, vomiting, or acting lethargic. Here's what to do. Experts say cool gently, wet belly, neck and armpits, but no ice baths, okay? Rub alcohol on paws to help heat evaporate faster. For humans, Cooling centers around California are open and have extended hours. Just check the website of your county to find them. If you don't have access to the internet, that's okay. Local libraries and senior centers typically double as cooling centers. The biggest advice also, Jen, Araxia, take care of those around you, right? You have that neighbor and you sit out on the porch with her and you talk to her and she's elderly. Make sure she's okay today.
Check in on your loved ones.
So don't walk those dogs out on the hot pavement.
Ooh, their little paws, I know.
That would be mean.
All right, Brooke, thank you. So for a lot of us, money is pretty tight right now.
Yeah, it is. But that doesn't mean you don't have to let stress overwhelm you. Our next guest is here to basically destigmatize financial stress and has some tips on how to build a healthy money mindset. Before that, though, let's talk roads out there with Samada.
Yes, good morning, Roxy. Good morning, Jen, to everyone. We've got Good Daily Traffic sponsored by the law offices of Jacob and Ronnie. Call jacob.com. We do have a crash to bring to your attention on this Thursday. A bit of a struggle through the Fontana area, westbound side of the 10 at Sierra Avenue, where a pickup truck got involved in an accident with a sedan, and the delays continue to add up. You can see the yellow there, indication of some moderate slowing. A look at real-time traffic, 47 minutes downtown through Mid-City, cruising to the west side. Or should I say not so much cruising. We've got 36 minutes northbound 110 405 coming inbound to downtown. Just make sure you have your patience with you. A screen grab, a screenshot of the 57 at the 22. A little heavy. Here's a look at some other traffic hotspots.
I looked up and just ran.
Maybe we need to seek somebody who does have the expertise to be able to guide us through the process.
If you're getting to an accident,
you're in good hands by dealing with Jacob and Ron.
Call Jacob.
Welcome back to Good Day LA. Today's hookup will get you pumped.
Get as loud as you can for Monster Jam!
I can hear you. Let's get as loud as you can for Monster Jam. Get ready for big time excitement because Monster Jam is roaring into SoFi Stadium and nothing compares to the one and only Monster Jam with some awesome trucks, amazing stunts, and action-packed excitement. It's the only place to see the legendary Gravedigger, Megalodon, El Toro Loco, and more. And today, Good Day LA wants to hook you up with 4 tickets and pit party passes to Monster Jam at SoFi Stadium, April 11th. Enter for a chance to win on our website, foxla.com/contest, or scan that QR code right there on the screen. One winner will be selected today, so don't waste any time. Enter now. Good luck to our viewers. Now we're going to send it on over to Maria for a check on the forecast.
And thank you, Amanda. This weather is sponsored by the law offices of Larry H. Parker. We've got sunshine, temperatures heating up. This is a look outside from our camera up on our rooftop looking towards Century City. And I don't know if you can tell, but it's already starting to feel pretty warm outside, and it's going to get hot quickly because of this big dome of high pressure that's still in control of our weather, producing these dangerous temperatures, some 20 to 30 plus degrees above the average. There might be some relief as early as Saturday. For some of you near the coast, you'll feel that, but I think everyone should notice a little difference as we get into Sunday as those temperatures drop just slightly. Hydrate, remember, drink lots of water, and if you have to work under these weather conditions outside, remember the checklist of taking numerous breaks. Wear the appropriate clothing, light-colored, lightweight clothing like this so you can move around and stay cool. Get in some air conditioning if you can, and please check on our elderly, our friends who particularly don't have air conditioning. Take care of our pets as well as our kids. 2 to 4 foot sets rolling in along our coastline. So if you are trying to get some relief at the beach, temperatures on the sand still pretty warm, 78 to 83, but it will feel good if you get your feet in the water. Temperatures will stay in the low 80s here for the coastal communities through tomorrow, and then we'll start to feel that cool down on Saturday and holding there through the rest of the weekend into next week. Not quite as hot as this week, but it will still be warm. 94 in downtown LA today, getting to the upper 80s as we get into next week. 101 in the valleys and the Inland Empire, down to just double digits at least. 91 perhaps next week. 82 up into Big Bear, down to just 74 on Sunday. So that's nice, at least a little bit of help, right? 94 in the high desert with plenty of sunshine and that heat. We will welcome spring tomorrow officially in the northern hemisphere with some more warm temperatures. 107 in Palm Springs this afternoon. Back to you.
Financial stress, something a lot of people are carrying right now. Too many people still feel kind of embarrassed, though, to talk about it, or maybe they just wait too long to ask for help.
That's right. Patty Asai is known as the Duchess of Decorum on social media, and she joins us now with tips to, ditch our financial stress as much as we can and build healthy habits instead. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, why are we ashamed of financial stress anymore? Because I feel like everyone's going through it.
Yes, 80% of Americans are under financial stress. So that's most of us, right? But there's such a stigma with being under financial stress. We think that it's a personality failure, and it's not. It's an education gap. Yeah. That's all it is. If you can educate yourself on your finances, you don't have to be under financial stress. And really, there's nothing wrong with it because so many people are going through it.
One of the things is I think people wait too long and then they're like, oh, wait, I have a problem. And now it's such a big problem. I don't even know what to do about it, right? So what's the support out there, and when should people do something before it becomes a problem?
Yes, as soon as you see that you're getting under financial stress, you may be getting a little behind on your bills, that is the time to get help, which means contact your creditors. Tell them, you know what, do you have any financial programs, any hardship programs that I can get under? They want to work with you. These people want to work with you. Get in early so then you're not falling behind and your credit score takes a hit.
I was just going to say, how do you make sure that doesn't happen? Because I feel like one missed payment and your credit score is in the toilet.
Right. So pay the minimum payments on your credit cards. Make sure to make the minimum payments. And again, stay in touch with your lenders. If you ghost them, they're going to be like, this person is not serious about this.
Yeah, you don't want that to go to the creditors.
Exactly. Yeah. And they're going to send it to the creditors. But if you keep constant communication, open communication, they'll work with you and your credit score can stay intact.
A little bit is better than nothing. And that credit score, once you damage it, and I will speak from personal experience.
That is such an uphill battle. Yes, same.
Let me tell you, it happened to me. It took years to fix.
Right. It's the your credit score is so important, and it's really hard to fix once it goes down. So you just want to make sure that you keep it where it is, pay your minimum payments, and don't charge anymore on your credit cards, right?
Oh, yeah,
Don't
there's
max
that.
out your credit
Yeah.
cards.
Yeah, that's right. You know, younger people are turning to gambling, crypto, and prediction markets to get ahead of this.
Right.
Do you believe in those faster moves?
Absolutely not. These are acts of desperation. So anytime someone's desperate, they really want to do something to make money quick.
Yeah.
And these are just scams that they get into. They don't understand crypto market. They'll get into it. They'll lose their money. They'll start gambling, and they'll lose their money, so they get even in worse financial trouble than they were before.
Yeah, that's right.
So what's your advice out there right now? What is the one piece of advice you would have for people?
I think the one piece of advice is that you need to cut out everything that you don't need in order to survive.
Not want.
Right, not want.
Yes.
Right? Things that you need to survive, and getting your nails done, getting your hair done are not one of them, right?
Why are you looking at girlfriend? You're going to have to do it
you
yourself.
guys look amazing. But yeah, that's not one of them.
Yeah.
But just cut out all the things you don't need to survive. You will be so surprised how much money you have left and how much money you're saving. Because that $7 coffee that you're buying every day, that adds up.
Honestly, it does. And like we have this app called Quicken where it gives you a pie chart, literally, of all the different things that you spend money on per month.
Right.
And it's disgusting.
Yeah, it's
a
scary.
Reality slap in the face,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I keep Postmates in business. Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks, Patty.
You can learn more about navigating finances across relationships in her book, Never Date a Broke Dude. I suppose that's also some good advice there. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Pick up a copy of that.
Clearly pink is your color, Patty.
Pink is your color.
I love pink.
Yeah, we can tell.
We love you.
everybody. Welcome to it. It is Thursday morning. I'm Roxy Carpadian.
And I'm Sandra Endo. Thanks for joining us. Let's take a look at today's headlines.
Shocking abuse allegations surface against labor rights leader Cesar Chavez. Now LA City officials might rename his holiday. We have the latest.
Plus, we have team coverage this morning on a planned LAUSD teachers strike. Coco has the latest from a press conference this morning, and Mario's taking a deeper dive into the union's actions.
And hasslers? Watch out. The idea of being annoyed to death. There is actually some truth to it. New research revealing how much you age by dealing with people who hassle you, including your own family. Yikes. But first, let's see how the weather's hassling us with this heat, Maria.
It is pain. It's a pain for a lot of people, especially inland when we're talking about this excessive heat. High pressures in control of our weather, and there's not a marine layer that's out there at all. We've got mostly sunny skies, and that's going to mean really warming up quickly this morning. It's already in the 70s and even mid-upper 70s here in Woodland Hills, 72 in Ontario, 73 in Pasadena, 63 in San Bernardino to that 88 in Palm Springs. High temperatures today will range anywhere from those triple digits out towards the low desert, 107 in Palm Springs, 94 up towards the Antelope Valley, the mountains, 82 in Big Bear today, which would be a record. We'll wait and see. 94 in downtown LA to that 101, the valleys, Inland Empire, even at the coast where it's typically in the 60s. We're looking at 83 degrees on average later this afternoon. We'll talk about the heat and when it's going to finally cool off a bit. I'll show you that in my complete forecast. In the meantime, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Maria, thank you. The city of Los Angeles will be distancing itself from Cesar Chavez today after sexual abuse allegations surfaced, accusing the civil rights icon.
And Mayor Karen Bass is ready to hold a news conference at City Hall this morning, and Gigi is there live with the very latest. Gigi?
And that's right. That conference set to start at 9:30 this morning. But take a look at the video. All of this coming after those stunning revelations from Dolores Huerta yesterday that Cesar Chavez fathered 2 of her children, at least one of them as a result of rape. And the New York Times investigative piece in which other women detailed disturbing allegations of continuous sex abuse by Chavez when they were children. Leaders across the country have wasted no time speaking out against a man who had been an icon for farm workers and their labor movement. And here in LA, leaders are now considering stripping his name from holidays, schools, and public landmarks. Karen Bass set to sign a proclamation today to rename the last Monday of March as Farm Workers' Day in Los Angeles. And she also says she's assessing the renaming of city landmarks. Over at LA Unified, the Board of Education is also speaking out.
So I think like most of our community, particularly in Los Angeles, and I say this as an almost lifelong Angelino, I think we're all deeply, deeply troubled by the allegations that have come forward over the last couple of days, particularly yesterday. Of course, we are assessing the impact that it's going to have on our educational program. Specific to the holiday, as it were, I do want to clarify, it's an unassigned day that happens 2 Fridays from now. At this point, we certainly wouldn't make any shifts to the calendar because that would, I think, create issues for our parents in terms of daycare. But again, it's part of the larger picture as to what we're assessing.
Again, leaders across the country and right here in Los Angeles talking about stripping Cesar Chavez's name from schools, the holiday monuments, and the street named after him. Reporting live at City Hall, I'm Gigi Graciette. Back to you.
All right, Gigi, we'll wait to hear what the mayor has to say. Thank you. An LAUSD news conference is just wrapped up, and the stakes couldn't be higher with a strike deadline now set and families looking for answers.
Coco live for us in Westlake with the biggest takeaway from the district. A lot was said, Coco.
Good morning. The acting superintendent for LA Unified School District, Andres Chait, and other district leaders just wrapped up a press conference, and the major takeaway is the fact that the district does not want a strike. And in fact, the acting superintendent said it would be nearly impossible to keep schools open if a strike happens starting on April 14th. Let's take a listen to what else he had to say.
We certainly recognize that the cost of living in Los Angeles continues to rise. And in response, we have committed to significant raises for our employees, among the highest offers in the state. For example, we have offered a guaranteed minimum of 8% raises over 2 years to our teachers.
So the impact of a strike is obviously monumental. That's why neither side really wants to get to that point. But the union is asking for a 17% raise in the next 2 years. The district is not agreeing to that at this point and is offering 8%. The district is facing a nearly $900 million budget deficit. Union leaders representing more than 33,000 workers from teachers and principals to cafeteria staff and custodians say if there's no deal by April 14th, they will strike. This comes after months of stalled negotiations with the unionized employees working without a contract since June of last year.
We have to be that emotional because there's so much at stake for every one of our students and their families. It's not a time for us to let down. It's a time for us to keep going and keep fighting for the services they truly deserve.
It is really shocking because the district has $10 billion that they've been giving to outside contract. They haven't been meeting the rate of who they should be staffing in schools.
94% of teachers have already voted to authorize a strike. Again, they gave that deadline of April 14th, saying if negotiations continue to stall, they will strike starting on April 14th. So we will have to keep an eye on what happens, and we'll keep you updated throughout the next month or so to see what ends up happening when it comes to LAUSD. We'll send it back to you.
8 and 17%. They're so far apart on that alone, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to take a lot of work and compromising for sure.
But there's a little less than a month, I should say. So there is still time to work out a deal. Hopefully both sides will come to the bargaining table. Thank you so much, Coco, for that. There's, of course, a lot more to this than just the strike deadline.
Yeah, let's bring in Mario right now. He's in the studio this morning with a closer look at what's really at stake here in just a matter of weeks. The clock is ticking.
It really is, Roxy, Sandra. A high-stakes standoff reaching a boiling point. And when you really break this down, this could disrupt daily life for hundreds of thousands of families across the largest school district in the state. So if this strike happens, here's what it could look like for families across Los Angeles. First, schools could shut down district-wide, which means no in-person classes for hundreds of thousands of students. Second, many parents would have to find last-minute childcare, especially for younger kids, and that can be a real challenge on short notice. And there's also the issue of meals. A lot of students rely on school breakfast and lunch, and those services could be interrupted. And finally, after-school programs, including tutoring and enrichment, would likely be put on hold. And we've seen exactly what this can look like. Back in March of 2023, tens of thousands of school workers walked off the job, shutting down campuses across Los Angeles for 3 days. Classes were canceled, and families were left scrambling for, like we mentioned, child care and meals. That walkout was led by support staff, including bus drivers, custodians, and teacher aides, with teachers joining in solidarity, bringing the district to a standstill. And it eventually led to a deal with significant pay increases for lower wage workers. And in 2019, more than 30,000 teachers also went on strike. That was the first time in 3 decades. And now we're back in a very familiar position. On one side, the union's pushing for higher pay, around 17%, smaller class sizes, and more staffing support in schools. And on the other side, the district's offering an 8% raise plus fully paid health care through 2027. But they're dealing with serious financial pressure, including declining enrollment and the end of pandemic funding. But with even more workers uniting this time and a hard deadline in place of April 14th, if history is any indicator, this could go down to the very last minute, Sandra and Araxia.
That's right. I remember that 2019 strike. It's quite chaotic for families to deal with. Obviously, there's compassion for teachers and the work they do, though. Mario, is there anything the district is doing to prepare for this potential school closure?
Yeah, you know, we heard from the acting superintendent, Andres Chait, during that news conference, and he said that they've been working on a backup plan for months, working with an external partner on specifically child care, because as we've mentioned, that's one of the biggest challenges. And he didn't really specify any more details, but did stress that it's exceedingly difficult to keep schools open with 30,000 workers planning to walk off the job, and a lot of the campuses that could be affected here.
Let's hope they come to some type of agreement soon. All right, thank you so much, Mario. Appreciate it. We turn now to get the very latest from Iran. The Trump administration saying that it may release more oil from American reserves at this point. This comes in wake of Iranian strikes on oil and gas facilities in the Gulf regions. Iran's devastating attack on natural gas facilities in Qatar caused major damage. It's expected to actually reduce exports by 17% over the next few years. The president threatening to blow up an entire gas field if Iran attacks Qatar again. Here's what the Pentagon is saying about Iran's ability to target energy assets in this region.
Clearly, they came into this fight with a lot of weapons. This is why we continue to be as aggressive and assertive as we can against their ballistic missile capability, both their medium-range ballistic missile capability and their short-range missile capability. So we are continuing to hunt and find them and kill them, and we will continue to do so.
And this morning, we also learned the Pentagon is seeking $200 billion in additional funds for the war, a request likely to face stiff opposition from many Democrats and some Republicans.
All right, a lot more coming up on Good Day LA, but first a check on traffic.
Yes, Good Day LA traffic is brought to you by DTLA Law Group and Accident and Injury Attorneys. As we look at our drive times here, or real-time traffic, not that too many incidents on the board. That's good. Things are improving as we speak. Here's a snapshot of the northbound 5 freeway at Gilbert. There's definitely more volume on the northbound side of this freeway, but it is moving. I just checked a few moments ago, so both sides actually are looking okay. The drive times in and out of downtown LA, a little slow coming out of downtown on that west 10 towards Santa Monica between the 5 to the 405, 40 minutes there, and almost that on the west 60 between the 57 to the 5. Here's a look at some of the other traffic hotspots.
This broadcast is locally sponsored by DTLA Law Group, Auto Accident and Injury Attorneys. Have an injury? Text Injury Help to 40222 or visit us online at calldowntown.com. Message and data rates and usage may apply.
Hi, Amanda.
Hi, welcome back. Okay, a lot of things have been hitting my FYP page, and I really want to bring it to the table, okay? Entertainment is sponsored by Yamava Resort and Casino. Ladies and gentlemen out there, have you heard about the manosphere?
No.
Okay. The manosphere is a term online. It promotes some narrow and aggressive definitions of masculinity. You've heard of toxic masculinity. Okay, that's kind of in the realm of it. Often suggesting that feminism and gender equality have impacted men's rights in a negative way. Well, Netflix is taking us inside the manosphere in their latest documentary, and here's a clip.
But I need guys to kind of have this mindset where it's like, you're the leader, you're assertive, you're dominant, you're the dictator of the relationship. What you say goes.
Do you consider yourself a misogynist?
No, because misogyny would be the hatred of women. I would argue I love women and I actually understand them. So since I understand them, I know what's best for them.
You think you know better than they do?
Yes, in many ways, yeah. And that's how women want it. They want a guy that can lead them and dominate them.
Excuse me?
Okay, so that is Louis Theroux, who is interviewing him. Now, Louis is no stranger to interviewing people who have these extreme ideologies. Well, now he's taking us inside the alpha male influencer world, and he was talking to Myron Gaines here. Now, Myron is the host of the Fresh and Fit podcast. Myron has said on his podcast, women are more cutthroat than men. You have to watch out for women. And he has a lot of these bold statements. So I'm very curious, Sandra, because you have a son. So how do you raise your son consciously to be, you know, a good man, but also be respectful of women?
Well, I think a lot of the messaging he's already received, and he's already 8. I mean, only 8 too, but already at 8, he doesn't want to show when he's vulnerable. He doesn't want to show when he's upset. He doesn't want to cry in front of people, yet he'll come to me and cry. So I think to myself, who taught him that, right? And it's just kind of in society already at 8 to know that you have to be, as a boy and as a man, tough. And to show that. So I do want him to know that it's okay to be vulnerable and soft. And I think having a sister helps. Having me helps,
100%.
obviously, too. Having an elderly grandma that, you know, sometimes can't get around as much, he is very sensitive to that.
It's good, empathetic.
It really, to make sure that their world is full of women who are strong but also soft enough.
That's what I wanted to say to you, too, because I was reading the comments under that post, and a lot of women said, please, fathers, teach your daughters to respect themselves. Because self-respect for a little girl to grow up with that confidence will make sure that she knows what she wants and stands for.
That's the other side of the coin, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
You have 2 daughters.
Yes,
so.
yes.
And I don't think they have any problem with respecting themselves.
And confidence.
And confidence, for sure.
Amanda, thank you. Interesting topic there. We'll be right back. Okay, last hour we asked you this. Are you okay watching a movie starring an AI-generated actor who died? Here are the results. Well, 63% of you say no, too creepy. 29% of you say if it looks real, and not many of you are in favor of this. So there you go. Maria?
Well, I mean, I know this was in relation to Val Kilmer, but his family approved it, actually, right? His estate said they would. So I will try it. I will see how that works, and you know, see if it makes me feel a little uneasy about it. We'll try it, right? Okay. Good morning. We have some weather here to talk about the heat. This weather is sponsored by Pechanga Resort Casino. Excessive heat risk is still quite high. Again, today, in fact, today and tomorrow for the Valleys, Inland Empire, very high, actually. And then things will start to change a little bit on Saturday as we start to see those temperatures drop a few degrees. It's still going to be warmer than average, but perhaps not quite as hot as it has been. So that's the kind of relief we're talking about as we get into the latter part of this weekend, particularly Sunday into next week. But in the meantime, this historic March heat wave will continue because of this big dome of high pressure that continues to dominate. That offshore flow, slight, nothing too gusty, will keep us under these very dry, hot conditions with temperatures about 20 to 30 plus degrees above average. Like I said, those heat alerts stay in place through at least Friday. Wouldn't be surprised if it gets expanded to Saturday, but by the time we get to Sunday, Monday, that high will be weak enough to where we will get a little bit of that sea breeze. 94 for downtown LA today. That is well above the average of 70. 82 in San Diego, all the way up into the Central Valley, even 92 in Fresno today to that 93 in Bakersfield. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Marie, thank you. And don't forget about today's hookup. Monster Jam is roaring into SoFi Stadium. And today, Good Day LA wants to hook you up with 4 tickets and pit party passes to Monster Jam at SoFi Stadium on April 11th. Enter for your chance to win on our website at foxla.com/contest or link through the QR code right there on your screen. One winner will be selected today, so good luck. We'll be right back.
Morning. Welcome to 9:30 on this Thursday morning. I'm Roxy Carpadian.
And I'm Sandra Endo. Any moment now, LA City officials are set to hold a press conference on the now disgraced labor leader, Cesar Chavez, and what they're expected to do in response to abuse allegations. We'll have that in just a moment, but first, a check on weather with Maria.
Yeah, let's talk about this heat. Right now, it's already warmed up to 70 degrees in downtown LA. A little bit of an east-northeasterly breeze of 5 miles an hour, but not enough to really help cool us down and clear out the atmosphere. So air quality is actually suffering just a little bit, particularly in the downtown LA area. Just adds to the urban island, all that concrete absorbing all the heat. 95 degrees yesterday was a record high temperature again for downtown LA. Similar to that today, expecting 94. Our sun will set later this evening at 7:04, and here are the highs we're expecting at 99 in Santa Clarita today, 101 in Woodland Hills, looking at Long Beach at 89, 101 in Riverside to 107 in Palm Springs. When I come back, I'll show you the 70 forecast. Back to you.
All right, the city of Los Angeles will be distancing itself from Cesar Chavez today after sexual abuse allegations surfaced against the late civil rights icon.
In fact, Mayor Karen Bass is about to hold a news conference at City Hall. Gigi is there standing by. Hi, Gigi.
Yeah, this is a movement we're seeing happen across the country, Los Angeles no exception, and we've just been given a copy of this proclamation that the mayor is set to sign in about 5 minutes. And basically what she wants to do is rename the Cesar Chavez holiday here in the city of Los Angeles. She wants it called Farm Workers Day instead of Cesar Chavez Day. And she also wants a resolution that it should be treated, Farm Workers Day, as a legal holiday for city employees. She's also going to be asking the city to look into the possibility of renaming anything that is named after the farm worker, the icon for the farm workers labor movement, Cesar Chavez. All of this, of course, in light of the New York Times investigative piece that detailed allegations from several women that they were sexually abused when they were children by Cesar Chavez, and also allegations by Dolores Huerta, who says that that Chavez fathered 2 of her children, at least one of them, after an incident of rape. So certainly some very disturbing allegations. Again, the mayor expected to sign a proclamation renaming the Cesar Chavez holiday. This is only in the city of Los Angeles. Reporting live, I'm Gigi Graciette. Back to you.
More to come, certainly. Landmarks, streets, schools, there are a lot of names that bear his name. A lot of things, that is. Gigi, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. LAUSD facing the real possibility of teacher strike that would impact hundreds of thousands of students.
Coco McAvoy live in Westlake with what the district is saying and what comes next, Coco, for students.
Good morning. District leaders from LAUSD held a press conference this morning, and the major takeaway is the district is saying they do not want a strike. The acting superintendent, Andres Chait, says they're going to continue negotiations, and in fact, he says if there is a strike, it will be nearly impossible to keep schools open. Take a listen.
Just on a very practical level, when you have 3 unions, UTLA, SEIU, and AALA, who have all indicated that they would strike together, it is exceedingly difficult, if not nearly impossible, to maintain schools open during that scenario.
The impact of a strike is monumental, so neither side wants a strike. But right now, the union wants a 17% raise in the next 2 years. The district is not agreeing to that and is offering 8%. The district is facing a nearly $900 million budget deficit. Union leaders representing more than 33,000 workers, from teachers and principals to cafeteria staff and custodians, say if there's no deal by April 14th, they will strike. This comes after months of stalled negotiations with the unionized employees working without a contract since June of last year.
We have to be that emotional because there's so much at stake for every one of our students and their families. It's not a time for us to let down. It's a time for us to keep going and keep fighting for the services they truly deserve.
It is really shocking because the district has $10 billion that they've been giving to outside contract. They haven't been meeting the rate of who they should be staffing in schools.
Drive hours each way. 94% of teachers have already voted to authorize a strike. And after this press conference, it appears at this point that neither side is really bending. So the pressure is really building, especially with that deadline given by the union employees of April 14th, or they will strike. So we're going to have to keep an eye on the story, and we'll keep you updated on what happens in the next month or so. I'll send it back to you.
That's right. I know a lot of families on edge to see what will happen. All right, Coco, thank you. A suspect was shot and wounded this morning after he allegedly opened fire at police in downtown L.A. The LAPD says the shooting happened around 4 o'clock this morning as officers were responding to a possible assault with a deadly weapon. The suspect was taken to the hospital. No word on his condition at this hour, and the LAPD says no officers were injured.
All right, I want to show you this. The Riverside County Sheriff's Department is giving an up-close and personal look at their new pursuit busting device. Here it is. And just like that, that's how it's supposed to work. It's called the grappler. When deployed, its arms extend and lower to catch one of the suspect's tires. The yellow tethered there brings the car to a stop. The Special Enforcement Bureau saying that it is a safer option when it comes to ending a pursuit without injuring other drivers or officers. Listen here.
Grappler system is safer than the pit maneuver because we control the vehicle. We get the car to stop. When we get the car to stop, the car is facing forward. When we do a pit maneuver, there's damage that is incurred by that. The car spins around, and most times that car is facing us now.
Riverside County Sheriff's Department is the first agency in all of California to actually utilize the system. Currently, 10 patrol cars are equipped with a grappler in Riverside County. However, we're told 6 more will be added by July.
Very cool there. All right, we're learning more about the Paramount and Warner Brothers Discovery merger. On Monday, Warner Brothers disclosed the estimated amount of compensation for each executive related to Paramount's $111 billion takeover. Warner's president and CEO, David Zaslav, is set to receive $34.2 million in cash severance, $517.2 million in equity, and continued health coverage. All in all, it's at least $550 million in compensation.
Edison International under fire after boosting executives' pay despite its suspected role in the deadly Eaton fire, which killed, as you know, 19 people, destroyed homes in the Altadena area last year. According to the LA Times, CEO Pedro Pizarro's compensation rose 20% to $16.6 million, even as the company faces lawsuits and investigations over its aging power lines. Critics argue Edison prioritized profit over safety, with its 2025 earnings soaring 200% to $4.5 billion, partially due to rate hikes and state wildfire protections.
There's a new poll in the race for California governor. This one showing 2 Republicans are slightly leading the long list of Democrats. According to UC Berkeley's poll, Republican small business owner Steve Hilton is polling with 17%, while fellow Republican Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco sits at 16%. On the Democratic side, Eric Swalwell and Katie Porter are neck and neck at 13% each, while Tom Steyer has jumped to 10%. All other candidates do remain in single digits right now. The 2 top vote getters in the June primary will advance to the general election in November.
Okay, so this heat is going to be with us through Friday, with maybe a little bit of relief over the weekend.
Let's hope so. And keeping cool could be a problem, though, with some outages already happening. And Brooke Thomas joins us with the latest. Brooke?
Hey there, good morning. Yeah, so the power is back on in Beverly Hills, but can you imagine, like, what a night? Pretty uncomfortable for 1,500 people because the power went out around 12:30 in the morning. It was restored around 5 a.m. An Edison spokesperson didn't shy away from the pressure the company's resources are under right now, saying, quote, "We just ask that people help by conserving energy." How do you do that? Well, a couple things to do that. First, keep your blinds and curtains closed. Try and rely on ceiling fans if you can. That way, you can keep your thermostat set higher. And this is what people forget. Check your HVAC filters, okay? Because if those are dirty or need to be replaced, then your AC is working harder, which of course means you're using more energy. Keep that in mind. Here's a warning also for those of you who love to hike. As the heat rises, rattlesnakes come out to bask in the sun. The cold-blooded animals are regaining the heat their bodies do not produce because the nights are warmer too. The rattlesnakes are staying out late as well. Orange County Fire Authority is actually warning of more rattlesnakes out and about after a rattler recently killed a young man.
Oftentimes, we see those bites occur right near the edge of a trail. So if you're out walking, hiking, stay in the middle of the trail. Keep those AirPods out so you're not distracted and you can hear.
If your dog is bitten, take it to the vet immediately. Signs of a venomous bite include extensive swelling that spreads quickly, bleeding due to the venom's anticoagulant properties, and a pair of large fang marks. Thing is, you might not see those marks. They could be difficult to see if the wound is already swollen. Now for humans. Cooling centers around California are open and they have extended hours for you. Just check the website of your county to find them. If you do not have access to the internet, don't worry. Local libraries and senior centers typically double as cooling centers, typically around 9 to 5 hours. So just like peak heat times, right? You know, so get over there, take care of yourself. Look out for your neighbors as well. Sometimes somebody just needs, a little nudge.
Yeah, absolutely. My grandma doesn't have air conditioning in her own home, so she came over yesterday.
Come on over, exactly.
Yeah, come on over, that's right. Thank you, Brooke. With temperatures heating up across Southern California, there is a sweet way to cool down. Dairy Queen celebrating Free Cone Day. They're giving away free small vanilla cones all day today as a way to welcome in spring. The best part is you do not, again, I repeat, need to download an app for it or purchase anything. Just stop by, enjoy a classic soft serve treat. However, that being said, 1 cone per person, and it's only while supplies last.
All right, Grubhub is rolling out its first ever drone delivery in New Jersey. Customers there can order through the app and choose drone delivery for an autonomous aircraft to fly home to their food to their home. Instead of landing, the drone lowers the meal down on a tether to drop it directly on their doorstep. The company says it's faster than regular delivery and plans to expand the service if the test goes well.
It's showtime at the Hollywood Pantages Theater, where the hit Broadway musical Beetlejuice has landed based on the cult classic film, of course, 1988, Tim Burton.
Yeah, we can't forget that. Bob DeCastro goes into the netherworld and gets a behind-the-scenes look at the hilarious stage production.
When I get revealed at the top of the show, I'm behind a newspaper. Holy crap, a ballad already? Bum, bum. And then hopefully wait for applause.
Ryan Stammiger leads the Beetlejuice cast as the ghost with the most.
It's showtime.
He showed us some of the magical props that help bring the netherworld to life.
Hi, I'll be your guide.
Including the famous handbook for the recently deceased.
There's 3 of these, you said?
Yes, there's 3 of these.
You don't want to lose them.
You don't want to lose them. There's one that's a little fancier that lights up. And there's one in case this one falls from the sky, and in case for some whatever reason that doesn't work.
For Stammiger, stepping into the striped suit is a dream role.
This is what I'm in for a majority of the show. I have 3 different shirts because of the amount that I sweat in the show.
Because there's that much energy that you are expending.
Yes. I was a huge fan of the movie. Growing up, Tim Burton was like one of my favorite directors, and this movie specifically, and Michael Keaton, I'm a huge fan.
It's probably one of his most iconic roles.
Yes. Which is crazy because it is only that 15 minutes of screen time, but it's like this is the one we remember.
Fans of the film are showing up in full force, many even dressing the part.
You look out, I'm sure, into the audience, and people are so invested in this, not only in their cosplay, but to like mouth out all and sing all of the tunes. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, if you've ever seen Rocky Horror Picture Show, it's like very similar to that sometimes. We don't have quite the same scream out moments that Rocky has, like scripted dialogue, but the audience can get wild.
And the transformation into the mischievous demon isn't left to a makeup department.
I am horrible at my eyeliner, but, with Beetlejuice, he's kind of like punk Rocky and a demon, so the eyeliner specifically doesn't super matter.
Stammiger actually does it himself. After a half hour, the actor's face transforms into the spirit fans know and love, ready to haunt Hollywood once again.
There he is.
This is good.
Yeah. It's showtime.
time. We're here in LA at the Pantages through March 22nd.
Break a leg.
Thank you.
Or two.
So impressive. So good.
Really good at makeup, right? He should come to ours. Time is running out to see Beetlejuice at the Hollywood Pantages Theater. It does go on through Sunday, March 22nd.
That's this weekend. So for more information, go to BroadwayInHollywood.com. All right, there's some big name football happening this weekend right here in Los Angeles with the Fanatics Flag Football Classic out at BMO Stadium this Saturday at 1:00 p.m. You can watch right here on Fox 11. You'll have NFL great and Fox football analyst Tom Brady. He's one of the captains and will also be QB for his team. We got a chance to speak to him about it.
24 athletes, professional. There's another group of the USA flag team has 12 participants, so there's 36 total players, 3 teams, a little round robin tournament, and we'll see who's ready to go because we're getting ready for LA 2028 and to see kind of where the pros stack up against the guys who've been playing this sport for a long time.
And as mentioned, if you can't get out to BMO, you can watch this competition right here on Fox 11 starting at 1:00 in the afternoon. So be sure to join us for that.
All right, 9:46. So we are awaiting that press conference from Mayor Bass, and we're going to take a break and come back and take you there.
Name the last Monday of March as Farm Workers Day. I also want to share that I've been in touch with the Chavez family, and they support our decision to rename this holiday. This March 30th and every last Monday of March moving forward will provide an opportunity for Angelenos to reflect on how the struggle of farm workers has elevated working people everywhere. Prior to that movement, I don't think anybody thought about the plight of farm workers. Even today, as our climate changes, the idea of people dying in those fields from heat and their struggle that continues to inspire me knows and reinforces the notion that when you organize, no matter who you are, we win. It reminds us that no matter the odds, no matter the obstacle, we can build a better lives for ourselves, for our city, and for our country. So I want us to remember that while we go through this difficult period. The plight and the struggle of the farm workers continues on, and we will honor that. But we are going to have to take a look at a variety of things, including the naming of holidays, of buildings, of streets, all of that. But let me take this opportunity now to introduce one of those leaders from our City Council, Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mayor Bass. Excuse me. It's been, as you indicated, it has been a very heavy and difficult 48 hours. As a daughter of Mexican immigrants, whose father actually spent time in the fields as a young man, many of our communities, many of our families know the struggle and the fight for the respect and the dignity of the work that they offer in this country every day, to feed the people of this country every day. This fight and this moment was more than just about one man. It was about a community and several communities that were equally committed in seeking the respect that they deserved. Sadly, these struggles still continue as we see the assaults that that our community continues to be subjected to. I want to thank you, Mayor Bass. Your history in the movement for justice across our communities is one that has been deeply aligned with our Latino community, with the Filipino community that was equally part of the origination in this fight for justice in the Central Valley. And we can't forget that. This is a very difficult time for all of us. And the reckoning is real. And it's palpable. We all feel it. But I look forward to anyone who engages in similar egregious acts in history, that the reckoning exhibits itself to anyone else that it also applies to in leadership, that it applies equally. I appreciate that my community has the integrity and the strength to reckon with these new revelations in a very expedient way. And as we do in Los Angeles, we lead by example. And that's what this moment reflects. But we honor the integrity and the strength of the people that are involved in this fight for justice. I am proud to be the daughter of Mexican immigrants, for a community that shows up every day to be of service and to be positive contributors to what makes this country great. We are all hurting right now. We feel the pain. We feel the pain of the victims and those of us inspired by this movement. But the movement has not expired. The movement continues, and our fight for justice continues, and it will be exemplified with every act and action that we take here in this city and every other city across this state. So I want to thank everybody that's been involved in helping to hold each other up in this moment. I want to thank the farm workers who have continued to show up every day for our communities and continue to be the leaders and the tip of the spear of the example of who we are. And I look forward to the reckoning that will occur for anyone who commits an egregious act equally. This is not for one community to bear alone. And so I would like to offer some remarks in Spanish. Para honrar la justicia, debemos ser honestos con nuestra historia, aunque la verdad sea dolorosa. Nuestra misión es proteger a los más vulnerables, romper el silencio y defender la dignidad de todos.
All right, you're listening to Council Member Monica Rodriguez there, speaking in Spanish right now. She just commented on Mayor Karen Bass's statement regarding renaming Cesar Chavez holiday here in Los Angeles and replacing it with Farm Workers Day. This is in light of the sexual abuse allegations where multiple victims have come forward. And in light of that, March 31st will be renamed in Los Angeles as Farm Workers Day.
Actually, she mentioned that it'll be the last Monday of March, so it's kind of a different twist on what was traditionally Cesar Chavez's birthday, March 31st, recognizing that day. So now when Bass renames this holiday, she says this proclamation will rename the last Monday of March to Farm Workers Day. So a little bit of a nuance there, but important one to note. And as we watch Monica Rodriguez talk and speak in Spanish to the city, we will be hearing from more city council members as well, following obviously Mayor Karen Bass taking the lead on announcing this renamement. But clearly a very impactful moment for the city and for the labor movement that has recognized this for decades now. And this doesn't diminish the fight of all the workers that have put so much effort to make sure that these farm workers are recognized and their efforts and contributions to the city, not only city, but the state and the nation.
I think one of the important points she made is that everything that has happened and all the contributions made goes far beyond just one man. It's about the fight, the effort, and everything that's been accomplished over the past 60 years. So we will take a quick break and we'll come back with more on this.
All right, welcome.
Good morning. Welcome to 10 a.m.
Thanks for joining us. We have a lot of news to get to, including this big story this morning, the LAUSD. The stakes couldn't be higher here with a strike deadline now set and families looking for answers.
Coco live in Westlake with the biggest takeaway from the district's update this morning. So much was said, Coco.
Good morning. A lot was said during the press conference, and the biggest takeaway is the fact that district leaders are saying they do not want to strike. They want to continue negotiations. And in fact, the acting superintendent, Andres Chait, was saying that if a strike happens on April 14th, they will not be able to keep schools open. Take a listen.
We certainly recognize that the cost of living in Los Angeles continues to rise. And in response, we have committed to significant raises for our employees, among the highest offers in the state. For example, we have offered a guaranteed minimum of 8% raises over 2 years to our teachers.
The impact of a strike is monumental, and that's why neither side wants a strike at this point. The union is asking for a 17% raise in the next 2 years. And as you just heard from the acting superintendent, the district is offering 8%. The district is facing a nearly $900 million budget deficit. Union leaders representing more than 33,000 workers, from teachers and principals to cafeteria staff and custodians, say if there's no deal by April 14th, they will strike. This comes after months of stalled negotiations with the unionized employees working without a contract since June of last year.
We have to be that emotional because there's so much at stake for every one of our students and their families. It's not a time for us to let down. It's a time for us to keep going and keep fighting for the services they truly deserve.
It is really shocking because the district has $10 billion that they've been giving to outside contract. They haven't been meeting the rate of who they should be staffing in schools.
94% of teachers have already voted to authorize a strike. And again, they gave that deadline of April 14th. So the pressure is really building now because we are less than a month away from that deadline. So we will have to see what happens. Reporting live this morning, I'm Coco McAvoy. I'll send it back to you.
Coco, thank you. As the deadline gets closer, the impact could be huge for families, of course, across the district.
That's right. Let's bring in Mario Ramirez with a closer look at what's at stake and what will happen next. Mario.
Sandra, Roxia, negotiations are expected to continue through mediation and fact-finding, which are the final steps before a strike can legally happen in California. And if it does happen, here's what it could look like for families across Los Angeles. First, schools could shut down district-wide, which means no in-person classes for hundreds of thousands of students. Second, many parents would have to find last-minute childcare, especially for younger kids, and that can be a real challenge on such short notice. There's also the issue of meals. A lot of students rely on those school breakfasts and lunches, and those services could be interrupted. And finally, you have after-school programs like tutoring and enrichment would likely be put on hold if this strike does go through. And we've seen exactly what this can look like. Back in March of 2023, tens of thousands of school workers walked off the job, shutting down campuses across LA for 3 days. Classes were canceled. Families were left scrambling for childcare and meals. That walkout was led by support staff, including bus drivers, custodians, and teacher aides, with teachers joining in solidarity. And that brought the district to a standstill. It eventually led to a deal with significant pay increases for lower wage workers. And we should also mention back in 2019, more than 30,000 teachers also went on strike. That was the first time in 3 decades. So both sides are still far apart this morning. On one hand, the union is pushing for higher pay. Coco touched on this a bit, around 17%. They're also calling for smaller class sizes and more staffing support in schools. Meanwhile, the district's offering an 8% raise plus fully paid health care through 2027. And they're also dealing with financial pressures, including declining enrollment and the end of pandemic funding. It's also important to note that last-minute deals are common in these situations, and pressure is building with each passing day, Sandra and Araxia.
Yeah, it is a big concern, especially families who don't know what to do, don't have a plan B if this happens, Mario. So how unusual is it to see so many unions, school unions like this, aligned in this
Sandra,
matter?
that's the part that's not very common. Typically, we'll see one union leading these types of walkouts or strikes, with others joining in solidarity. And here, you have multiple unions uniting, and we saw them all at that massive rally in downtown at Grand Park, and that is only adding pressure with this deadline now just weeks away.
A lot of politics at play here, too. All right, Mario, we'll see what happens. Thank you for those details.
Yeah.
Now to the latest from the war with Iran. The Trump administration saying it may release more oil from American reserves.
This comes in wake of Iranian strikes on oil and gas facilities in the Gulf region. Iran's devastating attack on natural gas facilities in Qatar caused major damage. It's expected to reduce exports by 17% over the next few years. President Trump is threatening to blow up an entire gas field in Iran if they attack Qatar again. So here's what the Pentagon is saying about Iran's ability to target these energy assets in the region.
Clearly, they came into this fight with a lot of weapons. This is why we continue to be as aggressive and assertive as we can against their ballistic missile capability, both their medium-range ballistic missile capability and their short-range missile capability. So we are continuing to hunt and find them and kill them, and we will continue to do so.
Yeah, this morning we also learned the Pentagon is seeking $200 billion in additional funds for the war, a request likely to face stiff opposition from many Democrats and some Republicans. The LA Fire Department announcing the arrest of a serial arsonist blamed for at least 5 significant fires. Officials with the department counterterrorism unit made this announcement yesterday. They say they've been working with the LAPD and the U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms to investigate all these arsons. The fires caused more than $7 million in damage after several buildings were torched. July 19th, 2024. So far, authorities have not released specifics about the suspect or the charges being brought, citing the risk of an ongoing investigation.
We are learning more about the suspect arrested at an oceanfront home in Hermosa Beach after an hours-long standoff with police. The body of a 92-year-old developer in the area was found inside the home in the 500 block of the Strand on Saturday, where police suspect it had been there for days. Officers finally took a suspect into custody who was wearing a dark suit, tie, sunglasses, and a fedora. The suspect was booked under 2 names, Robert Phillips Simmons and his alias Eleanor Boulot. Booking records show Simmons had contact with Redondo Beach Police February 23rd on a petty theft call from a store there and was arrested by the LAPD February 5th, but was let go the following day without being charged. The 39-year-old is now facing murder charge and is now being held on $2 million bail. The LA Sheriff's Homicide Division has taken over the investigation.
The Federal Aviation Administration puts new rules in place at major airports to help with air traffic safety during arrivals and departures. The FAA now is requiring air traffic controllers to use radar to ensure that helicopters and airplanes maintain a proper distance during these takeoffs and landings. Previous guidelines had pilots use visual separation tactic called see and avoid. Well, that's the method where pilots observe their surroundings to identify obstacles and to fly away from potential hazards. Between 2021 and 2024, over 15,000 close calls were reported. This comes just a few weeks after a near miss between a small plane and a helicopter at Burbank Airport. The FAA revealing the small plane was cleared to land on a runway on March 2nd when its path was converged with a helicopter. That pilot of that helicopter made a right-hand turn and avoided a mid-air collision.
Meantime, a cargo ship with crushed and dangling containers sits in the port of Long Beach. The ship was traveling from Taiwan to Southern California when it was hit by powerful 20-foot waves. At least 32 containers fell into the ocean and dozens of others were left badly damaged. A 100-yard safety zone is now in place around the ship because those containers could still fall. It's unclear what's inside those teetering containers. The cleanup operation is expected to begin today.
All right, let's talk about our weather now because it is yet again going to be a very hot day. Looking at our satellite radar pictures, just don't see the marine layer. That's our natural AC and it is not present right now. So high pressures in control. You can tell because it's so clear across SoCal, not just for us. In fact, all of the desert Southwest and up and down the California coast experiencing some above average high temperatures, potentially more record breaking high temperatures like Riverside forecasting for 102. The record's 98, so we will crush that if we reach those triple digits. Woodland Hills 101, Burbank 100 today, Santa Ana 93 degrees. Currently, it is already 83. 83 in Pasadena, 82 in Woodland Hills, 76 in Corona, to that 93 in Palm Springs. High temperatures today will be, of course, triple digits out in the low desert, 107, 94 in the high desert areas, 82 up in Big Bear, where they broke a record yesterday. So we'll see if we do the same today. 94 for downtown LA. It's well above that average of 70, 101 in the valleys and the Inland Empire, and along our coastline in the low 80s. All right, is there some relief in sight? I'll let you know coming up in my complete forecast. Back to you.
All right, Maria, thanks so much. Let's take a look at the big board right now. Here we go. Some different numbers here. Not good. In the red, down 459 or so. Oil prices shot up again today, sending markets worldwide sharply lower. Yes, the Dow is down right now. Meanwhile, in other economic news, applications for unemployment benefits fell slightly last week, according to new numbers released this morning by the Labor Department. Earlier this month, the department announced that U.S. employers unexpectedly cut 92,000 jobs in February, a sign that the labor market remains under strain. Inflation and other uncertainties caused by the Middle East war led the Fed to leave interest rates unchanged at its meeting yesterday.
New this morning, California voters are sharply divided over two statewide proposals that could end up on the November ballot. The voter ID initiative is a statistical tie. 44% support the initiative, 45% oppose it, and 11% are still undecided. Support and opposition break down along party lines here. Republicans overwhelmingly support the measure, with the majority of Democrats against it. Proponents of the initiative say it prevents voter fraud, and opponents say it discriminates against minorities.
The other initiative would levy 1.5% tax on billionaires in California. 52% of California registered voters did support it, while 33% oppose it, with 15% undecided. 72% of Republicans oppose the initiative, while 72% of Democrats are for it. The polls were conducted by the Berkeley Institute of Governmental Studies. Forbes has come out with its list of billionaires for 2026, and here are the richest people in California. Brett Adcock, the founder of robot maker Figure, with $19.1 billion. Real estate baron Donald Bren with $19.2. Venture capitalist John Doerr with $19.8. Semiconductor magnate Henry Nicholas III was nearly $21 billion. At number 5 is Anaheim Ducks owner Henry Samueli with $3.8, and with NVIDIA co-founder Jensen Huang with $154 that is billion. So many numbers, my eyes are failing me. Mark Zuckerberg is at number 3rd spot there with $222 billion. Number 2 is Sergey Brin at $237 billion. He's the co-founder of Alphabet, the parent company of Google. And the richest person in California is Larry Page, the other co-founder of Alphabet. He's worth $257 billion. More money than I can comprehend.
I can't even fathom.
Right. Yes, they're just numbers. All right, coming up, we're celebrating Persian New Year and why this year's observances may strike a bit of a different tone.
And details on a new effort to stop the deer kill planned for Catalina Island.
All right, let's talk about traffic just a little bit right now. At this hour, it's actually looking really good. This is one of our live traffic cameras. This is the eastbound 22 at Via Los Alisos out there in the OC. Both sides of the 22 moving really nicely here. The drive times coming in and out of downtown LA, it's improved a lot in the last hour. 31 minutes on that West 10 between the 5 to the 405 heading out of downtown towards Santa Monica. That's not bad. But the northbound 110 between the 405 to the 10, really good. 19 minutes now on this West 60 between the 57 to the 5, just 32 minutes. This weather is sponsored, or rather this traffic is sponsored by My Home Sold. Now here's a look at some of the other traffic hotspots.
Hello, I'm Adrian Hernandez with MyHomeSold.com, and we want to buy your house cash. We'll give you a cash offer for your house today. Sell your house the easy way with no commissions, no fees, no repairs. For free, no obligation cash offer. Go to MyHomeSold.com.
Breaking news out of downtown LA. Let's go straight out to Mayor Karen Bass, who is signing an official proclamation renaming the annual Cesar Chavez Day holiday following abuse allegations against the civil rights leader. Let's listen in.
How will that process work? Any idea how much money it would cost?
Sure.
Obviously, you're in a lot of different states.
And I'm going to begin, but I'm also going to ask my colleagues to jump in. It's been 24 hours, and so there's a lot of answers we don't know right now. What's most important is that we need to really evaluate. Some of what you said, of course, is within the jurisdiction of the city. Some of it is not. So the first examination will be in the city, and when you talk about the street, which we absolutely are going to look at, but we also, I believe, feel that the community needs to be involved in that process as well. Would any of my colleagues like to join in and answer?
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Mayor. Yes, this could work as a motion being introduced, asking the city to assess all city assets with the name on it, and then we can ask our departments that usually engage in renaming to take on this process of connecting with the community to do renaming of whatever assets we have, and that would be the council working with the mayor's office and our public works departments.
And Mayor, one more question. The police union in LA is calling for a formal investigation into Council President Marquise Harris-Dawson.
Oh my!
His position to avoid a traffic ticket. Do you have any concerns that the council might have violated the laws or public?
Oh, let me just tell you, Josh, you're throwing me for a loop on that one. I had no idea about that. I need to find out about it. I can't imagine why the council president needs to be investigated. But that is throwing me for a loop.
All right, you're hearing Mayor Karen Bass answer questions from reporters there after signing a proclamation renaming the Cesar Chavez holiday as Farm Workers Day. So we'll have more on this story as we monitor it. Of course, you can also follow us on foxla.com. All right, as Maria's been telling us, the heat will be with us through today, obviously, and tomorrow. A little bit of relief over the weekend, but Brooke is joining us with details on how everyone can stay safe. Right, Brooke?
Yes. The power is back on in Beverly Hills. I know they are happy this morning because it was a pretty uncomfortable night for nearly 1,500 people. Yes, power went out around 12:30 this morning. Luckily, it was restored around 5 a.m. But, you know, when it's hot like this, that's still too long. I get it. An Edison spokesperson admits their system is strained right now and asking everyone to conserve energy. We've got some easy ways to help you do that. Keep your blinds and curtains closed. Okay, try that. Also, rely on ceiling fans if you can. And so that way you can keep your thermostat set higher. And this is when people forget. Check your HVAC filters. If those are dirty or they need to be replaced, then your AC is working harder, which of course means you're using more energy. Parks and playgrounds can be a problem for people and pets. I'm talking about that artificial turf especially. It can be 20 to 50 degrees hotter, and it's already hot enough, right? And it's because those plastic fibers trap heat and they have a hard time cooling, unlike natural grass. The pavement can also quickly burn your pup's paws in seconds. Heat stroke can actually happen in dogs. You need to know that, and it can happen fast. Here are some of the symptoms of heat stroke: heavy panting, pale gums, drooling, vomiting, or your dog acting lethargic. Here's what experts say you should do. Try to cool them gently, okay? So no ice baths. Wet their belly, neck, and armpits. Rub alcohol on their paws to help heat evaporate faster. For humans, we've got you covered too. Cooling centers around California are open and have extended hours. Just check the website of the county you live in to find them. And if you don't have access to the internet, don't worry. Local libraries and senior centers also typically double as cooling centers. Back to you.
All right, good tips there. Brooke, thank you so much.
All right, I'll take it from here. Thank you, Sandra. So tomorrow, Iranians all over the world will recognize Nowruz. Celebrations may take a different tone this year, but Nowruz means new day, and the Persian New Year symbolizes renewal and harmony with nature. And these are the sentiments many believe are really important, especially now more than ever. And that is why the husband and wife team behind Costa Mesa's Knife Pleat continue their tradition of hosting a Nowruz dinner at their Michelin star restaurant. Tony and Yasmin are back with us this year. Welcome back. It's been a whole year since we saw you last. So good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
Yasmin, first of all, We were just talking about this, how important it is to continue and observe the Nowruz tradition, although there's a bit of a different tone this year.
Indeed, Araxia, thank you for acknowledging that. It's impossible not to. And we think it's certainly important this year, every year, but certainly this year. We've brought our half scene to show you, which we always set for the new year. And it has items that symbolize rebirth, renewal, beauty, resilience, wisdom, light, and reflection, eggs for fertility. But this year I'd like to talk more, instead of about the details of these items, more about the meaning of Nowruz and its history. So Nowruz, which means new day, as you mentioned, is an old tradition that has its roots in Persia about 3,000 years ago. And its roots are actually in Zoroastrianism. And it symbolizes the triumph of the light of spring over the darkness of winter, and ultimately the triumph of good over evil. It has survived the Muslim invasion and conquering of Persia, the Turkic and Mongol invasions of Persia, and now it's celebrated by over 300 million people worldwide. And given its very significant meaning of and symbolism of renewal, rebirth, and resilience, I think this year more than ever, as the people of Iran and certainly other places are suffering under the weight of conflict and uncertainty, I think it's very important that we carry forward this message of hope and resilience and hope for a new day.
Absolutely, and I think it's important to acknowledge that it's unavoidable. We can't avoid, obviously, but at the same time, it's something that obviously symbolizes hope, and that's what we need right now more than ever. Now, Tony, we turn to you, the chef, right? So your Nowruz dinner recipe contains so many things that were passed down from your mother-in-law, right?
From Shamsi.
I love that. Tell me what you learned from her and what you'll be sharing with us for the Nowruz dinner.
So here is a cuckoo. It's a herb frittata served with a yogurt and some sangak bread.
Ooh, so fancy. I like the shape. Yes.
Here is a pistachio soup with leeks.
Pistachio soups. I love it when you pour it into the plate. Makes it extra fancy. Very good. And what's for dessert?
Will be a rhubarb and rose dessert.
Ooh, very nice. Okay. Knife Pleat has been around for 7 years?
For 7 years, yes. We're celebrating our 7th year. We opened just before the pandemic, so it feels
the timing
more like 4 or 5 and less like 7. And Nowruz is a tradition we've had every year since we've been open, and in fact, we've carried it over from our previous restaurants in Los Angeles. So this is our 10th year.
Oh my goodness!
That we are acknowledging this tradition, and we are, particularly this year, are looking at it as a way of coming together and community and sharing our strength and in breaking bread together, finding unity and harmony in our shared humanity.
We thank you for being here and sharing all of this with us. We want everyone to go check out Knife Pleat Nowruz dinner. There you see the information right there. Saturday and Sunday, March 27th and 28th. Reservation only, knifepleat.com. Tony and Yasmin, we'll see you next year. And happy Nowruz. Happy Nowruz. We'll be right back.
And welcome back to you. I'm meteorologist Maria Quaban. The heat risk is still high today. In fact, today and tomorrow, we're still looking at very high here heat index, or the heat risk rather, especially for the valleys and the Inland Empire. And then we'll start to feel a little bit of a change as we get towards the weekend. Saturday, I think coastal communities first, but those temperatures will start to drop a couple degrees and then more noticeable as we get into Sunday. But here's one of our computer models as that ridge of high pressure, that dome is so strong. It's just continuing to be anchored over the southwest, keeping that storm track away. This is producing some very hot temperatures, some 20 to 30 degrees above average. It will eventually start to break down Saturday, so you'll start to feel that sea breeze. And then Sunday, that high will expand farther to the east and southeast, and so that will give us just a slight cool down. It's still going to be hot, but not quite as hot as it is this week. So that's the good news, at least a little bit of a relief, right, as we look ahead into the latter part of the weekend into next week. But today, very similar to yesterday, it was 95, that record high for downtown. Today around 94. That's well above the average of 70. That sun will set at 7:04 later this evening. Here are the highs today. Again, in those triple digits out in Woodland Hills, Santa Clarita, 101 in Corona and Riverside. We have those excessive heat warnings in effect for those heat-related illnesses that are really possible today again. So make sure you drink a lot of water. If you have to be working outside under these weather conditions, make sure you take numerous breaks. And of course, let's check in on our elderly, our kids, make sure they are hydrating, and of course, taking care of our pets. And the heat checklist here will